Hi everybody, welcome back to the studio. Today I am going to do a steampunk themed project on top of these 2 pages in this altered book. I previously did the backgrounds. I was comparing 2 different products, the golden crackle paste on the left, and then I used the Josanya crackle medium on the right, and I wanted to see what kind of results each one gave. And I like them both, really. They're different, but. And then I have some really heavy paper that comes from Canvas Core brand, and it was pre-printed in black and white with these steampunk images. So I just cut that one out, and I'm going to add some watercolor to it. I also have a definition and another little piece that was on that same page that I'm just going to add just a little bit of color. I have some really pretty metallic watercolors from 31 Purple Fish. You can find her on Etsy. She makes really nice handmade watercolors. So I have a like a bronze color. It's called Fire. I'm going to add some of that, and then I'll add some gold. And I found that for some reason this paper kind of resists the watercolor. Not so much right there with that bronze color, but it really resisted the gold that I'm putting on there. So I just kind of wiped it back a little bit with a paper towel, and it lightened it up, but that's okay. And then I did the same thing on the other 2 little pieces from that same page. So then I'm going to just set those wet watercolored pieces aside to dry, and I'm going to get some drips going on this right-hand page. So in an effort to kind of bring those pages together a little bit, I want a little bit of each of those colors on both pages. So I have the Winsor & Newton heavy-bodied acrylic in Payne's Gray, which is what I used on the left-hand side over top of that crackle medium. And I'm watering it down quite a bit, and I'm going to just add some drips onto the right-hand page. And if you watch my videos, you know I really like some drips, especially with a real vintage, aged, or steampunk themed page. I just think it just adds a lot of interest. So I'm just getting the paint along the top edge, and then I'm going to take my fine mist sprayer and just hit that with some water and get it dripping. And just soaking up a little bit of the excess water so that it won't take so long to dry with my heat tool. And then I'll dry it off. And I really like the way when it's dry that it faded out there, those drips. Now I'm using the Josanya's acrylic gouache in raw sienna, which is the color that I used on the right hand side background, and I watered it way, way, way down so that I wouldn't turn the blue green and I wouldn't really cover a lot of the blue up. I just want kind of a tint, a little bit, a hint of that yellow on the left side there. So that's all I'm doing here. So then I just grabbed this alpha stencil. I think these are like 1-inch letters, and I'm just going to add some letters with the Payne's Gray there. at the bottom of the right-hand page. And then I have another smaller alpha stencil, and I'm going to do the same thing on the left-hand page, just add a few letters. And I'm just going to take a piece of sequin waste, punchinella, and add a few dots here and there on both pages, again with the Payne's gray that I have left on my mat. Oh, I pulled out that gilding paste, but then I thought better of it because I know I want to use more water medium, and it's too early to go with a wax, so I'm going to use paint. And I'm glad I decided that anyways, because the darker circles I think look a lot better than the gold would have looked. And I'm just adding some random dots here and there, just for a little more interest in the background. Working intuitively as usual, just kind of deciding as I go. I did pull some elements out that I think I want to use, but not sure if I will. So as I get each layer down, then I have a better idea of what I want to do next. And those were just looking a little too crisp for me for this particular spread, so just decided to use the paint that was left on that sponge and just kind of smear things up a little bit more and bleed them out a little bit. So that's what I'm doing here. So I had pulled out these tea-dyed tags that have been in my stash for a really long time, and I thought, geez, I think I had 2 of them and I thought they would look good on this page. So I'm just using my Crafter's Pick Ultimate Glue, my absolute favorite glue. I don't see many people on YouTube using it, and I don't understand why, because it's really awesome. It sticks like right now, and it holds heavy pieces. It's good for paper, it's good for metal, it's good for a lot of things. So anyway, I'm just gluing that down. Then I just picked up a little bit of that Payne's gray that was watered down on my mat, and I'm just adding little bits to the tag. And then I'm just going to grab that other tag, the second tag, and I'm going to put that on the opposite page. I have just some bits and pieces of some Tim Holtz collage papers that have numbers and letters on them, and I'm just going to use some matte medium to put that down on the right hand side there. And I have this tiny little paper bag that I stamped, and I added a Tim Holtz band on it. It says Freedom, I think. And I'm going to glue that down. And I have a picture of a man with really wild hair. He looked like he belonged on a steampunk page. So he's tucked inside the little paper bag pocket. And then I just added a little tab on the top so that I could pull it in and out. And I'm just going to tuck that behind the corner of that tag there and glue it down. This was a really fun page. I enjoyed doing it. I hope you're enjoying watching the process. That crazy hair. I love him. In he goes. And then I'm grabbing those watercolored pieces and trying to decide where I want to put those, and I'll get those all glued down as well. For some reason, the matte medium didn't want to hold that little piece there at the top, so I used some ultimate glue. Stuck right away. There it is. Crafter's Pick, the ultimate. It really is. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend it. And the definition is the definition of an old Edison telephone. So I just put that across the image on the right hand side. Now it's time for some gears. So I have some that were, I'm not sure where they came from, but they're a heavy chipboard, and then now I'm going to use the wax, and unfortunately it's pretty dried up, so it took me a little bit to get some onto a paper towel. It did give me some, but I had to work pretty hard to get it out of there. But I covered all of the chipboard gears. Then I have some Tim Holtz metal gears that I'm going to put on top of the chipboard ones, and I'll attach them to the pages with some Tim Holtz tiny brads, tiny fastener brads. You'll see in just a few minutes. I'm having trouble with my editing software, and I tried to split the video and take some pieces out that aren't really necessary. It's deleting the whole rest of the video that I have left. So I don't know. I'm using Movie Maker, and it's really kind of flaking out on me. So I may have to go shopping for new editing software. I'm going to try again here in a minute because I don't want you to have to watch all this, but it's taking away my video. So I also had some little prima numbers, and I just laid those on there too. I'm going to glue those down here in a little bit, but I have this adhesive foil tape that I thought might look good, but then when I put it down I thought it's too shiny, so I'm just covering it with some matte medium to take the shine away, because the matte medium dries matte. So that helped a little bit, but I decided to put a few pieces here and there, and you'll see in a minute that I stood back and looked at it, and it's like, yeah, no, I don't like that. So I broke up some of those longer pieces into smaller strips, and then I liked it better. I'm still not crazy about the tape, but it's there, so it can stay. There, I decided, nope, I don't want all this. So and then it kind of split, and then it pulled up some of the paper, so I just put some of the pieces back down again and played with it a little bit until I liked it a little better. And then you know me, I don't want to throw anything away, so then I put the pieces back, but in different places. Now I have some Distress Oxide ink in Vintage Photo, and I'm just going over that tape again and kind of around the edges of things. Just I wanted more shadows and a little bit of darkness, so I'm just playing around with that and adding it here and there, putting it on some of those tapes. See, now this is where I would normally cut some of this out because it's just not necessary to be here, but every time I try to cut or split the video, it deletes all the rest of what I have left. So I'm sorry, you have to watch. So now I'm going back to the gears and I'm just taking the chipboard piece and then layering on top of that one of the metal pieces and attaching them both at the same time to the page with that teeny tiny little brad. And it went through some of the metal ones and then some of them it wouldn't go through. The holes were smaller, so I had to regroup on a couple of them. Use different ones. That one went right through. I was trying to line them up on the page so that the cogs lined up into each other like gears would normally do. So, and I know now you can see the brads on that other page, but I don't care. Once a page is done, it's kind of like, okay, that's done. But they turn, so that's kind of cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the rest of all the gears, and then I will add, there's that Tim Holtz package of gears. Then I will add the Prima numbers too, and I'm just gluing the Prima numbers down with that same ultimate glue that I used for everything else, and they're little metal numbers, and the glue worked really well. So I was able to split the video now and speed through some of this, so that made me a little happier. I don't know what's going on with this software. So there I have a 9 and a 6 and a 1. And those little, they're Prima numbers. They came, I think there were like maybe 12 or 15 in a package, and there were gold ones, silver ones, and kind of brassy colored. The ones that I'm putting down there on this page are the brassy ones. And just dabbing up a little bit of the excess, but it dries clear, so not too awful worried about it. So now I'm rummaging through my stash of photos of people and trying to pick out a couple, one for each page. So I have this guy in this bowler hat that is a Tim Holtz paper doll. I like him. I like the other one, but the color was just off. So I went back searching through paper dolls to find another man that I thought would work better. So while I'm looking for another man, I will just say if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I'd really appreciate it if you did that. I try to upload videos 2 or 3 times a week, And I have a Fast Fun Friday video, like a technique video every Friday. So I'd appreciate it if you would give this video a thumbs up and maybe share it and subscribe to my channel. Come back and let's be friends. Watch my videos and have a conversation and we can talk about it. I can answer any questions you might have. So there I have found another guy, and I have this big rusty washer that I decided I'm going to put around his face. So I'm happier with that, and I'm just going to glue these guys down with some more ultimate glue. So I'm pretty happy with the page. I think I have enough on there, and I'm taking my Stabilo all pencil now and running it around the prominent pieces that are in the foreground just to help bring them forward a little bit more, add a little bit of shadow and separate them from the background. And then I will just take a round brush and some plain water and activate that Stabilo, create a little bit of a shadow. So that's what I'm doing to finish this page off. And that's it from me. Like, share, and subscribe. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye.